Welcome to part 4 of the series on how to set yourself up for lasting success with the right mindset and goals. Goals that are truly yours, and most importantly, goals that complete you in the big scheme of things. In this series of goal setting videos, I'll be going over the steps that will enable you to set meaningful goals for yourself and give you the power, tenacity, and clarity to persevere at anything that you intentionally set your mind to. In part 3 of this video series, we talked about why you should derive your present goals with a bird's eye view of your life. Now, let's dive in a little deeper on how to actually do that, or at least begin to think about and point yourself in the right direction. There are no guarantees in life, but I believe that you can try to have a holistic approach. And if we neglect one area or one essential area of life at the expense of another, then in my opinion, true success will continue to evade us. The world is full of people who are far from feeling truly successful or feeling true and lasting success because they give priority to just one thing in their life over everything else. I would say, in my opinion, that it's better to be the jack of all trades than to be a master of one at the expense of everything else that makes up our lives. I don't think the Maker intended that for us, and I think any form of extremism is not beneficial for us in the long run. It is clear to anyone with a sane mind that the universe functions best in balance. So there's no reason why our lives should be any different, since we make up part of this universe. Now, that said, the focus is essential, and in order to truly do the best at something, you have to learn to ignore the rest. But you do that within the intentional limits that you have set for yourself or for that task or goal. And then once that is completed, you give your undivided attention to the next best thing. I guess in some sense the challenge here is knowing or deciding what are those limits, what the limits should be. And I believe that when you do things with sincere intentions, you can actually feel it when you've gone too far. That unsettling feeling gives you the clues that something is not right. Unfortunately for us, we have the ability to ignore our feelings and continue to push beyond the limits to our own detriment. I know I went off on a bit of a tangent, but I just wanted to clarify that there is no confusion as to what I mean by focusing on the one thing at the expense of the rest. I'm referring to the blind ambition that sees only one goal it has set for itself, and everything else as expendable, or as they say, the cost of success, or really lack thereof, I feel, in my opinion. Getting back to the how of deriving your goals. I've talked about it in the earlier videos. If you haven't seen them, please click on the link above. You should be able to see the video. In the earlier series, I mentioned that for me personally, there are 3 areas of focus in life: family, faith, and finances. And everything that I work towards has to connect within those areas. I don't think it's beneficial to throw yet another to-do list of priorities here. The internet is full of it. You can look them up all day long. What's important is to share my thoughts and processes and approach so you can think of what works best for you and your unique situation and circumstances. It's like teaching you how to fish. You want to be able to fish for yourself so you can be the architect of your future. Since the Maker and only you know what you really want in life and what your true success looks like, you know what matters most to you better than anyone else. So when you first resign to yourself to stillness, just have a very simple goal of focusing and being present. Your thoughts will wander all over the place, and that's natural. You're not going to be an expert on day one, but eventually they will start coming back and start pouring over your life. Just observe them. Just see what pops up, what areas of your life keep popping up for your attention as you replay parts of your past and possibly even envision your future. Don't ignore these thoughts. That's what's gotten you where you are today. It's your conscious way of really telling you what things in your life need your attention or need to be set in order. Just listen without any bias as much as possible, at least at first. Your job is just to observe and see what is coming up, what keeps popping up. Believe me, if your intentions with this exercise is truly to find what is it that needs fixing and how you can actually do it, then you will. And there's no question about it. Now, if you're wondering how, then the steps will reveal themselves as you work through the thinking process and putting your thoughts down on paper. Your situation is very unique. Your steps are going to be different. There may be similarities, but you have to think through those. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not giving you a list of to-dos here, it's because our lives are unique, and what works for you may or may not work for me or someone else. Giving you a bullet point of things to do is pointless. You know your situation better than anyone else. I can help you with the thinking and mapping process, but you have to decide what works best for you and what is practical for you and is going to be sustainable within your limits and ambitions. At some point, I may go ahead and add a slide or two in there, just kind of overviewing what are some of the things and how I go about setting up my day. But I really want you to think more about how you can be the architect of your goals. I cannot stress enough the importance of writing down your thoughts and making sure that your action steps are practical and sustainable. It is extremely important. The internet is full of self-help books and lists of to-dos, yet we have the masses that are unable to truly realize their true potential. I believe the reason for that is that these points or these to-dos either don't or cannot take into account our unique life and circumstances of every single individual. When you try to force yourself to fit that mold, you seem to make it work temporarily, but it's not sustainable in the long run. And for that reason, you do not see any real results. And then, of course, you're all frustrated and you blame yourself and blame others and your circumstances, and you move on to the next tried and true list from someone else who somehow made it and is willing to share their steps or their list of success. Yes, of course, success does leave clues. And you take those clues and you see how they fit your life instead of trying to fit your life into those clues. Clues are just an indication of something. They are not the end result of your search. Let's moving on. The point here is acknowledge the areas of your life that are screaming for your attention and write them down as clearly as you can. Write down the top 3 or 5 things that would have the greatest impact on your life now. Prioritize them and set limits and clear steps on when and how you intend to work and accomplish them. And remember to be flexible. You may not get it right the first time, and that's okay. It's a process of learning and iteration, and you will get better over time. Once you have prioritized them, think of steps that you can take to achieve them. Your steps may involve something as simple as additional learning, or may require you to learn some new skills, possibly even discipline yourself in certain areas, do better time management, do better diet or stress management. All of this stuff has a massive impact on your well-being and performance. What motivates and bothers you is different than what motivates or bothers someone else. The steps that will work for you and your situation will be different. Now, there are always similarities, but we're talking about coming up with ways that are practical to your situation. Believe me, you have what it takes to tackle this. Look for answers to your problems within you and make true intentions of seeking the help and watch how the universe brings that to you. How will it do that? No one really knows. Only you will get to see it and talk about it in your experiences. The biggest challenge for people, in my opinion, is really to take responsibility and accountability of their situation and really make the intentions of doing everything they possibly can to set things right or change their circumstances. If you're thinking all of this sounds too simple, believe me, getting yourself to take responsibility and focusing on what needs your attention, doing everything in your power to come up with ways to address that, making sure it's practical and sustainable, do the actual work and be consistent with it day in and day out, that's hard work. And that is the mindset and approach that is truly going to change your life and your circumstances. Transforming yourself from someone who comes up with excuses to not do things to someone who looks for reasons to do things. That is a real transformation, and that takes hard work, patience, persistence, and consistency. So nothing about this is easy. It's hard work, but it will produce results that you want and results that will make you feel complete. So start now in whatever capacity you can manage. Our culture and environment have trained us to look for answers to our problems everywhere else but within us. In reality, the answers we seek to a fulfilling life and steps towards a meaningful existence are within us, waiting for us to reflect so they can resurface to our consciousness. You want to consult your inner self. Why? Because that's the judge that you will be dealing with at every step of the journey of your life. Make an actionable plan. Make an actionable and practical goal around 3 to 5 priorities. And have a clear plan of action. Don't stress over if your approach is best or not. It will refine itself over time as you continue to learn, work, and grow. It's a process. Everything takes time. Think of practical steps and improve as you work. And remember to stay consistent. I keep repeating myself, but consistency is the most underrated, yet the most powerful force in nature. A small amount of consistent effort in the right direction can lead to massive results, massive changes over time. A small degree of variation when it comes to navigation can lead you off course by miles, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of miles. So do not underestimate the power of small, consistent action. Just to give you an idea of how a consistent action changed our lives, not too long ago, we suffered massive losses in our investments due to poor decision making and maybe even some economic conditions. It was the toughest time for us, for our family, and we were at the brink of losing everything else. And I don't mean just on paper. It was extremely stressful. It is during that time that we started thinking of where things went wrong. How did we ended up here? And what can we do to fix it? It was clear to us that what happens on the outside is not in our hands. But then the question came up, what is really in our hands? What can we do to prevent this from happening in the future? With hardships comes ease, and we learned that when things get rough, you should try shifting your focus to what you can do to set things right and reflect on your circumstances so you may extract the lesson and improve yourself for the future. Too often when one door closes, we neglect to realize that another one has opened up for us. Long story short, we decided that instead of copying everyone else, we're going to create, and that strategy has worked phenomenally for us. We've gone from losing, or really from losing everything, to being on the path to massive success. And the best part about this is that we truly feel in our core that this is just the beginning of our journey. And having this mindset and having this approach has really transformed our lives. We have truly come to appreciate the power of small, consistent action. The moment you start the process of thinking and writing down your thoughts, your goals, and possible practical steps to achieving them, you should already start to feel a sense of control and relief. Why? Because you are attempting to steer yourself in the right direction. The feeling of accountability and clarity is very fulfilling. And the best part is, not only does this exercise give you a roadmap to a better future, but it also shines a ray of light on your present, on your now, and brightens your path so you feel like you have a sense of direction. Nobody wants to feel lost when it comes to their future or their present, and possibly even shine a light so you could see something at the end of the tunnel. Superficial goals that are not relevant to your overall well-being will feel hollow. At your core, you will truly question your ability to pull it off. Not because you're not capable, but because they do not rhyme with your core. Moving forward is like building your success on a foundation that already has massive cracks in it. So, just a final note, think of action steps that you can start working on now. Small steps that will put you out of your comfort zone, stretch you, make you uncomfortable, but with some determination and discipline, you can sustain them in the long run. Once again, consistency is the key. I know I sound like a broken record. Believe me, this is the heart of all this. Don't bite off more than you can chew by looking at someone else's arbitrary list or someone else's path to success. Learn to carve your own path. The takeaway from step 4 is write down the top 3 to 5 things that will have the greatest impact on your life in now or in the near future. Pick the top 3 things. Pick even one thing. And think of clear steps that you can take now. Build on that success in that area, and believe me, that success will lead to massive success and eventually have a spillover effect in other areas of your life. Now, these are very simple yet very, very powerful steps that anyone willing can take, and you will see remarkable changes in your life if you truly desire a positive change and take accountability. Please comment below if you have found this video helpful, and share your thoughts and experiences if you have tried similar approaches that may have worked for you. If you can think of someone who can benefit from this video, please share. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe this video, as I'll be uploading every week and breaking down many other concepts in life that I feel have become unnecessarily complicated for us for no good reason. Life is simple if you look at it from a clear and simple and practical lens. And my goal here is to make sure that the lens is not blurry. In part 5 of this series, I'll be going over how to plan your action steps so they are actually sustainable in the long run, and how to review your progress. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, peace.